the Chat GPT, and I've been playing around with it. So, how are you thinking about that in terms of impact to you, and just what are the ways that you're thinking about it? I'd be very curious to know how you're going to prepare for this.
Yeah, I think this is the question that is on everybody's mind around the world right now. And news is coming out almost on a daily basis with changes to artificial intelligence. You mentioned ChatGPT, which is one part of artificial intelligence
Right.
and is kind of the leader. And it's kind of almost like a foundation to a lot of other bots or tools, AI tools that can be used.
And I think with ChatGPT, it's given common people a window
Mhm.
into this world
Yeah,
that you don't need to explain too much. Now they can actually try it, and I
yeah.
think that's what's caused this revolution among regular folk, right?
It has, and in a lot of the conversations that I have, there's excitement. I think it's also normal to have some questions or some trepidation. What does this mean? Is the information that GPT is creating, what does that mean? How reliable is it? How accurate is it? And things like that. But I think it's fun that everybody gets to just play around with it. And
Mm-hmm.
most people have, because you just go to their website and start typing in things. Some of the things that I'm thinking about personally with it, and how it relates to my role and my career, I think there's a couple sides to the coin. In learning and development, what what do I need to understand as a learning and development professional so that I can to use artificial intelligence to help me in my role, to help me in my career and what I do, as for example a tool in creating learning and development. But I also think that there's part of like, is there training that needs to be created just to help people in our company understand how to use artificial intelligence
Mm-hmm.
with their jobs. Um, for example, there is this gets really fun, but there's if you can actually start using several artificial intelligence, I'll say tools together, and they can start communicating with each other to create some really neat things. So I was practicing with thinking about how would a company, or how would we as landscapers start interacting, or letting AI help us interact personally and closely with like future customers. And so there's a tool that's called Zapier, Zapier, or Zapier. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways online. And it will let Chat GPT talk to it, and then it can create content, like personalize an email back to that person with some more information. So it's kind of cool, because instead of me or an individual like taking emails from customers and then trying to get back to them in a very timely manner
Mm.
and make sure it's accurate, and that there's still a need for that, don't get me wrong. I don't think like the person to person, like real human interaction, is going to go away. I actually think it may become even more valuable as artificial intelligence gets bigger and bigger, like the ability for people face to face to interact. But it can help us automate things quickly that can save time, like responding to an initial email, right? Or this is, I'll get kind of nerdy about this as a landscaper, but I was playing around with somebody wants to interact with our company. So we're in landscapers, right? And they say they fill out a simple form that has their name, phone number, address, and they can actually, a little box, they can put in a prompt like, I would like to see some images or concepts for my backyard pool or something, right? Artificial intelligence, through about 3 different bots or tools, including OpenAI or Chat GPT, can respond without me doing anything. A potential client or customer can fill out the form. Artificial intelligence will create an image that they asked for example, a concept for their backyard. It will create it for them. It will design the image and graphic for them, draft an email, draft a title to that email, respond to that person with the personalized email, describing the image, and then attaching that image to the email, sending that, and then saving all that to my Google Drive. And it will do all that in about 5 seconds. So these are some of the questions, like, what does it mean? How do we use it in learning and development? What tools are out there both to help us with our jobs? And then what do we need to do as far as training experts to help our teams in our companies know how best to use these tools to improve their own productivity and efficiency?
Interesting. Yeah, I get it. So I was thinking it from a narrower perspective. I was thinking about it in terms of developing content or, delivery, but you're seeing it as a tool that you need to train about, right? It will be one of those things that you may need to train.
I think to me, those are the kind of the two things that I'm in my mind right now. There's two sides: training about it and using it to help me do things. I used it to help me write some content. So a lot of the content that I'm writing can be more technical towards landscaping, but when we get into some areas of more like general leadership or something like that, I actually let AI help me write an article for some training. I let it do about 95% of the work, and then I needed to go in there and make sure, okay, this is exactly what I want to say. This is the vernacular that I want to use. So you can go in and edit it. It's not hard to do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think those. I agree, Lynn. I think those, for me, those are the two things: how to train about it and then use it in our own. And I don't have all the answers. I mean, it's so new to so many of us that we're all, I think, kind of figuring out what does it mean.
Yes, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more tools on the market. I'm sure they'll be coming out quickly that will interface with AI in ways that make it easier for us. Right now, we are the interface tool, right? And so I was playing around with it to see, because I teach a class in data management. I was thinking, could it help me? Would it have helped me put the content together? And oh my God, would it have helped me?
Yes.
Right. And also,
even if it doesn't do it 100% perfect, if it does 90, 85%, 90% of creating that content, and it is amazing. If there's some listeners out there that have not tried it, take 30 minutes of your day this week and try it. Cause I mean, it's incredible. And it can be a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot there, but just to clarify, we've used some terms. We've said open AI and we've said GPT. Chat GPT is created by open AI. So it's a tool that company.
It's an interface, if you will. It's a textual interface. Yeah.
So just go Google Chat GPT and this artificial intelligence is even going to, take over Google and Bing and stuff. They're already working on how they incorporate it. So go play with it because it's stunningly accurate and fast.
Shocking. I did read an article by Bill Gates, and he talked about seeing it, and not seeing it for the first time, but he gave his people a challenge, because I guess he's a big investor, a challenge he thought they wouldn't be able to do in a year, and 2 or 3 months later they came back with it completed and beautiful. And but his reaction, and it was the same reaction I had because I've been in tech for a long time, it felt like one of the biggest changes I've seen in the 40 years I've been in tech, right? And he said the same thing. The only thing he likened it to, and I did too, was the first time he saw a graphical user interface, because up to that point you'd never been able to actually connect. And I felt the same way when I saw the OpenAI kind of capabilities. It's like, oh my God, this is a total game changer, and it will change everything that we do.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not an expert at it. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say, this is going to affect everything we do, just as you said, whether we like it or not. And I'm from the perspective like, hey, we should be careful, but let's embrace change.
Right.
I think there were people, this might be hopefully not too overly sold. But I think there were people that hesitated on using the automobile instead of horse and carriage, right? And you know what? It like tech innovation and technology comes whether we're ready for it or not. It's pretty amazing. Here's another example of using AI to help us in our work. There's a tool out there that will actually come into meetings like this, Zoom meetings or Teams meetings, and it will listen in as a participant, and it will take notes for you of everything that happened in a really well done way. And you can set, depending on how you set it up. So you basically have a guest come in and take notes for you. It's not a real person. It's a bot. And then send those notes out to all the participants in the group, or just send them to you as the leader or the facilitator of the discussion. So there's an example where, maybe it makes sense to let AI just do some of the work for us, and then let us as humans then have time and bandwidth to do the things that maybe only we can do.
For now, only we can do. Yeah.
For now, yeah, for now. I mean, I don't think we ever thought that robots would build automobiles, but they do.
One of the other things we talked about when we talked about the future, things that you need to be thinking about,